Franco's recent performances could throw a spanner in the works. The FIA fights back against F1, and Renault abandons their F1 project. Do consider subscribing to the channel. Let's get straight into the latest F1 news. Guenther Steiner has warned Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon they're under pressure to retain their Williams seat with Franco Colapinto, younger and costs a lot less money, lurking in the background. Colapinto made his Formula One debut at the Italian Grand Prix when he was called up to replace the beleaguered Logan Sargent, who was dropped from the Williams lineup after one crash too many. The Argentinian driver impressed on his debut as he raced from 18th on the grid to 12th at the checkered flag, finishing 4 places behind Albon despite starting 9 adrift of him. He followed that up by doing what Sargent could not do all season, scoring points at his second race in Baku, where he was P8 having qualified inside the top 10. A near miss of P11 in Singapore showed Williams, and the rest of the paddock, that Colapinto can adapt to any circuit. Former Haas team boss Steiner has been impressed with what he's seen so far. "I mean the great Alex Albon, the most talented driver after Michael Schumacher," he joked on the Red Flags podcast. "Comes a guy which nobody even knows how to pronounce his name. It's like, alright, where's this guy coming from?" I respect Alex a lot, he's a good driver, but you can see that this Colapinto, I didn't have him on my radar. Nothing. Fair play to James Vowles, he discovered a very good talent there. The guy is coming in and almost beating or equal to Alex Albon, which we all know is a good talent, and the guy hasn't got the seat next year. Unfortunately for Colapinto, he arrived on the Formula One scene 2 months too late, as Williams confirmed their full F1 2025 lineup at the end of July. Having already locked Albon into a new deal in May, Williams announced Sainz would be his new teammate as of next season, the Spaniard also putting pen to paper on a multi-year contract. But such has been Colapinto's impressive performances, Steiner reckons he could yet make a play for one of the Williams F1 2026 seats. After all, he's younger and cheaper. "I think Williams is going to look next year when Carlos is driving the second car, or the first car, whatever we want to call it, the other car, and then see where Alex is," he added. And if they're both equal, they will be like, they have Colapinto, who is 10 years younger than these guys, costs a lot less money, but he hasn't got a drive. I mean, for them it's a good position to be in, but I'm sure they try to find a place for him, or people must be looking at him, because of what he has shown. Yeah, he had a few little accidents, but, always got out, got back on the track, boom, put it there again. It's quite impressive. He's there to show that he's there to stay, and he did. In my opinion, he showed in the 3 races he did for Williams that he deserves to be there. Changing the concept of the RB20 to incorporate ideas previously discarded by Mercedes in the ground effect aerodynamic era, Max Verstappen says Red Bull took the wrong direction with the car. Having won all bar 1 race in 2023, Red Bull surprised their rivals when they unveiled the RB20 ahead of preseason testing, revealing a car that was very different to last year's record-breaking RB19. However, the new car not only appeared very different to its predecessor, it also featured design concepts inspired by attempts made, but discarded, in the last 2 years by Mercedes. Red Bull seemed to have made it work with Verstappen racing to 7 wins in the first 10 races. Not on a par with last year's dominance, but still enough to have pundits predicting a 3rd successive double for the team. Spain, though, was the last time Verstappen or Red Bull won a Grand Prix. While Red Bull got a little lost in their development of the RB20, McLaren surged ahead with their spot-on upgrades, and in Azerbaijan finally claimed the lead in the Constructors' Championship, which they have grown to 41 points. "Let's say we took the wrong direction with the car," Verstappen told Sky Italia. "Now we are trying to correct it, but it takes time. You can't just flip a switch and fix everything. We are working on it." Then we also had bad luck in some episodes in the last races, some unfortunate decisions that compromised the final result. But I know we can do better. Obviously, I don't expect it to go like last year, where we dominated the whole season, but I feel confident that we can get back to fighting for the win very soon. Having won 19 races last season, and often by double-digit margins, this year he's often been pushed to the line with 3 wins coming with a winning margin of less than 4 seconds. At Imola, his gap to Lando Norris was a mere 0.7s. It has created moments of frustration, most notably at the Hungarian Grand Prix when Verstappen raged at his race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase on his way to a distant 5th place. He concedes the tables have turned on Red Bull, and sharply. Obviously, it started out pretty well. It was just a continuation of last year, he said. But I always prepare myself not to have excessive expectations. The start was good, but I never thought it would be the same as last year. I knew things would change sooner or later, and they did it quite drastically. It's time to keep calm and work together with the team to do a better job. Verstappen leads the drivers' standings by 52 points ahead of Norris, while Red Bull are second in the Constructors' Championship. The FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem has claimed the sporting organization does not receive enough credit for improving F1 and that everyone makes money out of the FIA except them. The FIA is the body that oversees not just F1, but a wide variety of motorsport series, and Ben Sulayem feels they do not get enough credit for the work they do. Ben Sulayem succeeded Jean Todt as president in 2021, and although the presidency does not come with a salary, the FIA itself generates money through aspects such as teams' entry fees and super license fees. But that is nothing compared to the money promoters have been able to make due to the rise in F1's popularity, an aspect not missed by Ben Sulayem. "We will never get the credit. Impossible," he told Motorsport.com. "We'll only get rubbish. That I know." When you look at it, everybody made money out of the FIA. Everyone except the FIA. Everyone gets the credit except the FIA. It's true. When I took over, we had a running operating cost of minus 20 million. Why? Because we have our income as everybody. But look at the promoters. And good on them, and I congratulate them. They are smart enough to do that. Ben Sulayem went on to suggest that Liberty Media, owners of F1, were the ones benefiting the most, and that if he was part of the negotiation to sell the sport to the American company, he would have looked for a better deal for the FIA. But I'll be very, very honest, as always. So Liberty Media did a great job in transforming Formula One. If you tell me if I could go back in time, would I undo that? No way. I wouldn't undo that, but I would just make sure that the FIA is two equals with them. They are a good promoter, they are. If you ask me today, is there anyone who is capable as much as them? I can see that there isn't. I support them in what they are doing. The FIA works with them in the best possible way. But then the regulations and the governance is the work of the FIA. And then let everyone make money. Let the drivers have fun, race in a safe way, and make money. And let the team principals make more money. And they are. But the FIA will never get the credit. Impossible. The F1 2024 title race is on, declared Nico Rosberg, after Lando Norris's dominant win in Singapore had the German claiming the McLaren driver could win every one of the last 6 races. Max Verstappen, though, could still have the edge, a single-point edge, thanks to Daniel Ricciardo denying Norris the fastest lap point in his final stand as a Formula One driver. Norris pipped Verstappen to pole position at the Marina Bay circuit, but it was the Grand Prix that the Briton truly came alive, banging in fastest laps as he pulled clear of the chasing Red Bull. Up by almost 30 seconds, he eased off to win the race by 20.9s. It was Norris's best ever winning margin, and it has Rosberg predicting he could have 6 more before the season is over. That's going to have Red Bull scared, the 2016 world champion told Sky. Because with this speed to the end of the year, it's realistic that Lando can really win all the remaining races. And for Max to come second is so difficult. The world championship is still on, and it could be decided by a single point. Although Norris was on course for the fastest lap point, a late burst from VCARB's Ricciardo on his final lap with the Red Bull Junior team meant Norris outscored Verstappen by 7 points instead of 8. History may yet say Ricciardo won the F1 2024 World Champion for Verstappen. If Norris won every one of the last 6 Grand Prix, took the fastest lap point and was also P1 in the sprints, he'd finish the season on 459 points. If Verstappen was second every time, sprints included, he'd win the title by a solitary point as he'd have 460. They, however, are not the only drivers on the track, with Rosberg claiming Oscar Piastri could be a thorn in Red Bull's side as he has the pace to fight for the podium. It's almost impossible for a Max to finish second all the time because of Oscar being there also, Rosberg added. Oscar has been doing such a great job. Generally, he's going to be taking points away from Max, so that's a big problem. Red Bull Motorsport boss Helmut Marko admitted he's wary of having to bank on 6 consecutive runner-up results. Relying on always coming second, that is not enough, he said. Renault will pull the plug on its Formula One engine operations ahead of the new rules era in 2026. Following months of speculation about the future of the French manufacturer, with Alpine having long been in talks with Mercedes for a customer power unit deal, the fate of its operations was finally announced on Monday. In a statement, it was revealed that the company's F1 engine factory at Viry-Châtillon near Paris would be transformed into an engineering center to help contribute to cutting-edge technology of future Renault and Alpine cars. That would be as a consequence of Renault abandoning work on its 2026 F1 engines. The statement said that Viry would, however, continue its effort to supply the current turbo-hybrid engine to Alpine until the end of next season. Formula One activities at Viry, excluding the development of a new engine, will continue until the end of the 2025 season, said the statement. The alternative projects that have been marked out for Viry include the development of a future Alpine supercar, work on future battery technology, and R&D on electric motor technologies. Viry would also continue to contribute to Renault's other motorsport activities, including Alpine's World Endurance Championship program, as well as customer projects, plus Formula E and rally raid efforts for partner brands. Despite abandoning its F1 engine, Alpine has said it would keep monitoring developments in Grand Prix racing. The statement added, "Following the consultation process and dialogue with the employee representatives at Viry-Châtillon, Alpine has decided to establish an F1 monitoring unit. This unit will aim to maintain employees' knowledge and skills in this sport and remain at the forefront of innovation for Hypertech Alpine's various projects." Alpine has insisted that all current staff at Viry would be guaranteed jobs going forward. Philippe Krief, Alpine CEO, said, "Creating this Hypertech Alpine Center is key to Alpine's development strategy and, more broadly, to the group's innovation strategy. It is a turning point in the history of the Viry-Châtillon site, which will ensure the continuity of a savoir-faire and the inclusion of its rare skills in the group's ambitious future while strengthening Alpine's position as an innovation garage. Its racing DNA remains a cornerstone of the brand. It will continue to fuel an unprecedented industrial and automotive project, thanks particularly to Hypertech Alpine." The confirmation that Renault is to abandon its F1 engine project has come after much controversy about the idea of operations being shut down. Staff at Viry have protested against the move, which they felt was not justified, despite the cost savings that will be made through Alpine going down the customer route rather than funding its own full engine program. But amid a review of Alpine's F1 plan by Renault CEO Luca De Meo and new advisor Flavio Briatore earlier this year, it became increasingly clear that the preferred route was to take Mercedes longer term. As well as the financial benefits, getting that deal across the line would mean Alpine having access to an engine that should deliver guaranteed competitiveness, which it currently enduring an engine that is down on power compared to rivals. Alpine team principal Oliver Oakes explained recently that, while he understood Viry staff wanted to keep going with the 2026 project, there were a host of elements that De Meo had to weigh up. "There are all the factors at play, but I guess at the end of the day you just want the best engine in the car," he said. "That's a decision that I think Luca is evaluating at the moment." Discussions with Mercedes are ongoing, and nothing has been formally announced yet regarding a future partnership. Lewis Hamilton has been praised by a leading mental health charity for speaking openly about battling depression. The 7-time Formula One world champion opened up on his mental health struggles in an interview with the Sunday Times Style magazine, revealing he was bullied as a child. Hamilton, 39, said he started meditating during the coronavirus pandemic as he would struggle to initially calm my mind, linking those feelings back to his younger self. "When I was in my 20s, I had some really difficult phases. I mean, I've struggled with mental health through my life," he said in a wide-ranging interview. Depression. From a very early age, when I was like 13. I think it was the pressure of the racing and struggling at school. The bullying. I had no one to talk to. I spoke to one woman, a therapist, years ago, but that wasn't really helpful. I would like to find someone today. You're learning about things that have been passed down to you from your parents, noticing those patterns, how you react to things, how you can change those. So what might have angered me in the past doesn't anger me today. I am so much more refined." Hamilton pinpointed the time when he realized he wanted to use his position to highlight injustice, revealing how he broke down after watching a video of the murder of George Floyd. "If I felt there were wrongdoings, I didn't feel I could speak out," added the Mercedes driver. The cork popped. It had me on my knees in tears. All this emotion came out. It was such a strange experience because I don't remember crying since I was really young. I knew that I'd had enough. I really needed to speak out. There are people that are staying silent, people that feel voiceless, and I have this platform. Winning championships is an amazing thing, but what are you doing with it? What are you doing with your time on this planet? Now, one of Formula One's elder statesmen, Hamilton is empowered to challenge any perceived wrongdoing and, as recently as last weekend's Singapore Grand Prix, labeled comments made to Autosport by FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem as having a racist element. In openly discussing his mental health, Hamilton is the latest sports star to normalize what has long been a taboo subject, especially among men in his age group. We are grateful to Lewis Hamilton for being so open and sharing his experience with depression and the impact that racism has had on him over many years, Joe Levinson, head of media at mental health charity Mind, told Autosport. Speaking up and speaking out can help to normalize conversations and challenge the stigma that so often surrounds mental health. At Mind, we know that when public figures speak openly about their mental health, it can have a powerful impact. Our research has shown that 1 in 5 people have started a conversation about their mental health after hearing a celebrity or someone in the public eye share their experience. Mick Schumacher is refusing to give up on the possibility of a return to F1, despite there only being one seat available for 2025. 2020 F2 champion Schumacher was dropped by Haas at the end of a 2-year spell in 22 and replaced by Nico Hülkenberg, and has been unable to find his way back into a race seat since. He joined Mercedes as a reserve driver to Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, but was overlooked to be Hamilton's replacement for 2025, with Andrea Kimi Antonelli given the nod instead. Williams also looked elsewhere when Logan Sargent was dropped for Franco Colapinto after the Dutch GP, with boss James Vowles claiming Schumacher was nothing special, although he later clarified his remarks and apologized to Schumacher. Schumacher has spent this season racing for ALPINE in the World Endurance Championship, with the team keen to keep him on the program, which is a strong possibility given only the second stake Audi seat remains. But as Racing News 365 exclusively wrote over the Singapore GP weekend, Valtteri Bottas is expected to retain the seat alongside Hülkenberg. It would mean, therefore, that barring a substitute appearance, Schumacher would not race in F1 until 2026 at the earliest, a 4-year gap between races, but he is still clinging to the hope of a Grand Prix return. Whatever happens for the future will be decided at some point still this year, hopefully. He was quoted by Autosport after finishing 3rd in the WEC round in Japan. As soon as I know what I will be doing, I will for sure put a press release out there and let you all know. But definitely the hope is for Formula One, because that is what I dreamt of since I was a little boy. But it definitely feels great to be in WEC. Alpine is keen to keep Schumacher in the 36 machine alongside Mathieu Vaxivière and Nicolas Lapierre, but key figure Bruno Famin, the ex-F1 boss, has acknowledged the F1 chance Schumacher is chasing. It's not only what the team can do, it's about his personal choice, Famin told Autosport. We all know what Mick's #1 priority would be if he had the possibility to return to F1, but we know that there is only one seat left to have the opportunity to go back to Formula One. Let's see what we do and what the final decision will be. From our side, we will be happy if he stays. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.